Two speakers. Let's look at DJ Allen first. I have a long list of incredible things that this guy has done, and I'm going to go through them because I think it's worthwhile. He is the president of X's and O's of Success, which is a leadership, organizational, and professional development firm that serves businesses, nonprofit organizations, and the athletics industry. During the past decade, he has shared inspiring stories with audiences all across the country. He's a sports executive, he's an entrepreneur, an author, a community activist. What does he do in his spare time? I'm sure that's what you're thinking right now. He brings a wealth of experiences to others, and he started this at a very young age. When he was only 25, he founded his first firm, which was called Imagine Communications. He's out in Nevada. It was a marketing PR firm. And he was later named the SBA's Small Business Person for the Year in a little town called Henderson, Nevada. It's pretty impressive at age 25. Later, he was named the Small Business Year again by the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. This was as late as 2009. Today, he serves as the Henderson Chamber of Commerce's chairman of the board, and nationally, he's been active volunteer for Coaches versus Cancer in all sorts of activities that he's involved in. I'll tell you that ahead of time, he came to me and he said, there's only one thing that's really important to me that you share with people, and that's what I do is really unique because I'm really deep into the sports world, but I'm also deep in the business world, and it's a unique proposition for me, and he loves it, because it's given him the opportunity to create a book with Lon Kruger. You guys know him, head coach at the University of Oklahoma. He's very proud of this, and I think he's going to have some remarkable things to say to us about that. Also, many of you are familiar with this Coaches versus Cancer initiative. It's a cancer-fighting collaboration between the American Cancer Society and the National Association of Basketball Coaches. Norm Stewart, who I'm proud to say a Missourian, who's done such remarkable things. He's the man who provided the vision and the inspiration for the Coaches versus Cancer concept. He is also, as you all know, a cancer survivor. He's also the former head of Missouri's men's basketball team in the University of Missouri, where he compiled a record of 731 to 375, and that rocks. He spent 43 years coaching, which is a great long time to survive. I'm sure all that you went through during that time. In 2007, Norm was inducted into the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame, which is housed in the College Basketball Experience in Kansas City. His accomplishments and his achievements in the sphere of college basketball are numerous, but really we think his greatest legacy will be his role in the creation of the Coaches versus Cancer program. I want you to know also that the Cancer Center in Columbia, Missouri is named the Virginia and Norm Stewart Cancer Center. So this is a family event for the two of them. So I think let's get rolling. Let me call you guys up. Norm Stewart and Dr. Allen. Let's go for it.
Thank you, Meryl. I usually have some caustic remarks to make after I'm introduced, but that was absolutely fantastic. Welcome. Good morning. I usually start at, I love starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, because then your first comment, you can yell, and that wakes me up and then wakes you up, but it's 11 o'clock, so I'm hoping that the yell is not needed. Let me tell you about Coaches versus Cancer and how it got started. I am a cancer survivor, 1989. I won't go through all the details. I love the music. At the Cancer Center in Columbia, we have a massage therapy that we also combine with the music, and it's wonderful. You ask this question, you always get all the hands, and I'll come back to this. How many of you have been affected by cancer, or someone in your family, or a close friend? Hold your hand. Yeah, everybody. That's what's amazing about it, and that's why we should all get involved. But I had colon cancer, and survived at a time when they said you should probably have chemo. I had one lymph node outside of the 16, one or two, and they did not know the formulas that they know now. But they're still using a drug called 5-FU. It's still prominently used for those of you who have been closely involved in this. But anyway, surviving that, a young man with the American Cancer Society by the name of Jerry Quick came to me and said, I've got an idea, but I need somebody with visibility to promote this idea. And the idea was to have a three-point plan, three-point attack, so that every basket that the University of Missouri basketball team made during the season, people, corporate, an individual, small business, large business could contribute money on a three-point attack. With about 6 weeks of preparation, we raised approximately $300,000. So, duh, this is a good idea. So Jerry came back and said, can you get this in front of the NABC? That's the National Association of Basketball Coaches. I went to the NABC, and I think DJ is going to follow up with some of this information. The reason this is, to me, is so interesting, here's the way I sold it to the NABC if there was selling needed. I went into them and I said, look, and this goes back to 2002. Yeah, that was the date. No, not 2002, excuse me. Age, there's a lot of things happen to you. I can blame it on cancer, or I could blame it on heart surgery, or I could blame it on just being feeble. So we went to him and I said, look, here is the way we are perceived. People turn on the TV, they go to a game, and they see you running up and down the floor, yelling at kids. Then the next morning, they pick up the paper to read about the game, and they find out you're making an inordinate amount of money. So that's the way you're perceived. A guy that's making quite a bit of money, and you're yelling at kids. So I said, I know all of you, and I want to insert this too in this story. I have never seen another profession. I've only been in coaching, but in the 43 years that I had the pleasure to be in coaching, I never met, and still have not met, a coach that I did not respect. I didn't have to like him, I didn't say that, I wanted to beat him, but I never met one, not one in 43 years that I didn't respect. Everybody jumped on it and they said, that's right, now we'll do something. Excuse me. Now we can do something where our perception will at least change and people will know that we're human. And that's where it started. So now today, practically every visible major college coach is involved, and they consider it extremely important. They're volunteers, they give their time, they're busy, everything else, but they are there. I name names, Jim Boeheim, everybody be familiar with that, at Syracuse. Jimmy Calhoun was at Connecticut when, of course, he's retired now. Mark Few out at Gonzaga. They have great programs. Creighton, name, Natalie. Yeah, Greg McDermott has a year-round program that he does, and these people raise enormous amounts of money. But that is coaches versus cancer. I'm thinking about this is that People always say, well, what can you do? You know, a coach can do this, and he's visible, and he can do this. But all of us can be involved. You can go to someone, to your best friend, or to someone that you really care about, and say, have you been tested? You know, have you had a mammogram? Have you had a colonoscopy? And I always laughingly say, you know, at my age, you kind of look forward to a colonoscopy. But there are the simple things that you can do, or you can take someone, you can give them a ride, or if you're in the position that many of you are in, you can get more involved. And let me tell you about the involvement. If you get involved, and if you do not get more out of it than what you put into it, call me. Call me. This idea started just by simply, my mother died of cancer, and I had just had cancer, and they asked me if I would do something for cancer. Well, it was a no-brainer. But all the things that have come back, I'm a volunteer. I'm here strictly at the request of the American Cancer Society and Natalie Morrison, who's done a great job, Coaches versus Cancer. But you too can get involved. But you go to your friends, you go to people, and you tell them, say, have you done this? Would you do it? I'll help you do it. And being from a small town, I always, again, the caustic humor is, if there's somebody you don't like, don't tell them. One of the coaches, one of the very best coaches in this fundraising effort and information effort is Lon Kruger. Lon, I have known since he's from Silver Lake, Kansas. Now, right away you say, well, I know him, you know, he wouldn't like Kansas, but I do. That's just a myth. But Silver Lake, a small town, he played at Kansas State University, was a great player, and then he's gone on, and he's one of the great coaches. He's been at 5 institutions, all educational, and quicken it up a little, would you? You're falling into my trap. He's been at 5 institutions, taken them to the NCAA tournament. That's a record. No one else has been able to do that. And just absolutely a great guy. He is partnered with DJ Allen, and I can't, and I'm sure you can't either. I'll get off of here. Can't wait. I spent last evening with DJ, and I can't wait for him to express some of the things that they have in a book that they just published called The X's and O's of Success. It tells you how basketball business is tied into life. It's an excellent book. And so with that, I want to close with one other thing. In athletics, everybody, you know, we get a hero status or something. I don't know what it is. But you want to see heroes? I don't know how many of you have been to a chemo room. I was listening to the music, and it brought back some memories of long periods of chemo. If you want to see a hero, go to the chemo room. Those are people who really understand, you know, because they're sitting there, and they call it infusion, you know. It's dripping poison, but it is a great place to be, and if you go in, you would expect to see maybe another attitude and another atmosphere, but it isn't. You go and you see people who are full of life, and they're doing their treatments, and they are really heroes. So if you want to see a hero, take somebody to a chemo room. And I'm going to close out by introducing DJ, who's had now 2 introductions, and he's the only guy that I know of after last night that can follow up with a performance that will match 2 introductions. DJ?
Thank you. Well, good morning. And we talk about hero status. We do that a lot with our athletes, with our sports figures. we said some numbers earlier. I know Merrill was talking about the winning percentage, and we like to do that in sports. We could talk about National Coach of the Year, 1982, 1991. But the most important numbers when you talk about hero status of someone like Coach Stewart, who understands the power of the platform they have as a coach. 1993, Coaches vs. Cancer was founded because of this man, vision. Almost $100 million have been raised to this date because of that. So I'm the guy who gets to come up after a basketball legend. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a guy behind me, Magic Johnson. So you need to do me a favor. This is the first time ever Magic Johnson has spoken after me. And I hear he might be nervous, okay? So please, when he comes out, make him feel good, okay? Because we don't want that. All right, I got a chance to speak all around the nation for years and years, and I start every time with 2 rules. There's only 2 rules when I speak. The first rule is that when it comes to my humor, I have an audience of 1, and it's me. Okay, so I guarantee you over the next little while we get to spend together, I'm going to say something I think is funny. No one else is going to laugh. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm used to it. Okay, that's just my life. I'm married. The guys will get that. Thank you. It's an audience of 2, apparently. Great. Awesome. The second rule is be the one. Be the one who is supposed to be here today. Whether it's something that I say, whether it's something that Coach says, whether it's something that Magic says, someone through the breakout sessions, be the one who is supposed to hear that message and take it back. Because the reality in a situation like me is you're going to go, most people are not going to remember my name 15 minutes after I'm done. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I do this. If that's why I'm doing this, shame on me. Shouldn't have me here. The reality is we're here to share lessons, share stories, share things that others have taught us that may impact you, and you can take them back with you. So that's our challenge. Coach talked about Lon Kruger, and it's amazing because I had an opportunity to get so close with Coach Kruger, and he always talked about Coach Stewart. And he talked about him Coaches vs. Cancer is so important to Coach Kruger because of Coach Stewart, and it's also impacted Coach Kruger and his life. There's a lot of coaches going on. I know Lon, Norm, we'll figure it out together. We're in this all together. But I always talked about him. But it's funny, when I talked to the assistant coaches, they began to tell me the stories of Coach Kruger and Coach Stewart going nose to nose at half court because they were competitors. And I think sometimes in sports what ends up happening is we forget that you can be a competitor on the court and be respected off of it. And that's what we should want. Those are the heroes in sports. And we can do the same things in business. In fact, as I got to know Coach, I'm here because I went to a movie. Went to a movie the day after Lon Kruger finished his first season at UNLV. And went to the movie $1 Million Baby. $1 Million Baby, and we're walking in, and I've been working, had my own PR for, I thought I used to want to work in sports. I got into sports, minor league baseball, and I hated the egos involved with sports. And I swear I'd never be a part of it again. Got out of it at 22 years old. So here I am now. I have a PR marketing firm working in my hometown. They're in Las Vegas. And I love my running Rebels. And Lon Kruger takes over our program. And I see Lon Kruger the first year. And he doesn't have the greatest first year that the fans want. Of course, fans want instant gratification. It's the society that we live in now. But I remember watching him on the sidelines and seeing the interviews and seeing his mannerism and saying, this is a winner. This is a guy who gets it. And then I run into him at the movies, literally the day after the last game of his first season. And I introduced myself. I had an opportunity to work with athletes and politicians and CEOs. So I just go up and I say, Coach, I want to introduce myself. I've been a fan. I've lived here my whole life. I'm a native of Las Vegas. Just want to say thank you for coming here. And I remember him going, you're a native of Las Vegas? We have a support group. There's 4 of us who get together monthly. So as I get to know Coach, I meet him on that Saturday. On Monday, I write them a thank you note. I, like many people, kind of built my company on notes. Write them a thank you note. Thanks for coming here. If I can do anything for you. I send that out on Monday. On Wednesday, I get a note back from Lon Kruger. Wow. And what he didn't realize at that time is he inspired me, and I began to use the sources of my PR marketing firm, and we got involved with the basketball program and started donating our services to try to help build the Running Rebel basketball program. And after the next couple years, we got to be a part of something special. In fact, in 2007, Lon Kruger took UNLV back to the Sweet 16. They hadn't won a game in the NCAA tournament since 1991. And I was so fortunate because I got to be a part of that and donating services and getting to coach a little bit with community outreach. And I began to understand the culture inside of the athletic departments and the athletic community a little bit more. And as I began learning more, I started saying, hey, wait a second, I have 15 people on my team. He has 15 people on his team. The conversations that we have, that we talk about, of leading the people who are on our teams were exactly the same. You know, for a long time, sports was the biggest part of my life. How many people in here would say that your life has been impacted by sports? Yes. But I never wanted to be that frustrated guy who was that certain little league coach or that knee injury that kept me from being the next multimillionaire athlete. But when I built my company, I ran it like I was a coach. And as I began to work more and more with Lon, I began to think about things and say, yeah, we do a lot of things the same. Then one day, a couple weeks after that Sweet 16 appearance, I had an opportunity to introduce him to a potential donor, and we were going out golfing. Now, I am not a great golfer. I'm better than I was 5 or 6 years ago, mainly because of Coach. Free golf helps to do that. Let's not lie. But I'm out there with him on the driving range. The guest hadn't come yet, and it's me and Lon Kruger, and here's Lon. Much like Norm, people don't know this about Coach Stewart. He was part of Missouri's national championship baseball team, which won the national championship 60 years ago. Big Cardinals fan, grew up a Cardinals fan. A lot of people, like Lon, is actually a bigger baseball fan than basketball growing up. Played baseball at K-State, was drafted and played in the minor leagues, Lon did. He was drafted by the NBA, was the last cut of Detroit before he didn't make the NBA. He was invited to Cowboys rookie camp, Dallas Cowboys rookie camp, even though he never played college football. He was almost a scratch golfer. So here I am, and I'm standing with him on the driving range, and he's right there. I've never had a lesson in my life, so I'm going to get a free lesson from someone who knows what they're doing. And I says, Coach, what should I think about as I'm standing over the ball? Those golfers in the room kind of know that moment. You know, usually I'm thinking about, okay, how far is that house over there? It's about 100. And he says to me, I'm thinking, he's going to say, head down, watch your balance. He says to me, accelerate through impact. Accelerate through impact. And then he explains to me, here's why. Think about the golfer. If they've done everything, what happens right here, they're ready. You trust me? Trust me? Okay, I'm gonna scoot back. Okay, that's for you. Okay. Head down, right here. Oh no. What do? I decelerate, I slow down. What happens if you slow down? Whew. Ball's gonna go off over there. Ball may go over here. He says at that moment, accelerate through impact. Accelerate through impact. But that comes down to the preparation and confidence. It's all about preparation. At that moment of impact, that's when you have to accelerate. And he begins to talk about sports. He says, that's sports. If it's a pitcher throwing a breaking ball, at that moment you can't go, oh, okay. No, that's the moment. I have to release it. A shooter with the spin. At that moment, I have to accelerate. A running back hitting the hole, hitting a tennis ball. Accelerate through impact. Well, I'm a business geek who loves sports, and I start to think about business. And I say, this is what I'm really good at, is I like getting together with that client, that potential client. And we start talking about the opportunities and the things that we can do to help your company. And then I go back to the office. And what do we have to do that? You have to get your proposal together. You have to get that contract prepped. I wasn't great at that. At that moment of impact, I slowed down. Okay, what's next over here? What's over here? Like everybody else. Okay, what email did I get? What telephone call did I get? What message do I have? And I did not accelerate through impact. And I saw it with a lot of companies, small businesses, big businesses. They get really close to a goal. Entrepreneurs, after years of working, they're getting close to that turning point. Now I'm going to get the cabin. Now I'm going to go spend more time at the lake. And at that moment when they should be accelerating, they slow down and the business crumbles. Big companies, goals. We're coming up on our quarterly goals. Looks like we're almost there. Take the foot off the pedal. We miss it. Accelerate through impact. So I began thinking there, for 18 holes, I'm thinking all the different lessons that we had, that we could write this book. Wouldn't it be great to write a book? People have been asking me, or I've been thinking, I should write a book. Nobody wants my book, though. They don't care about me. It's kind of the reality. So I began thinking all day long, and that night, as we're going to bed, I tell my wife, I said, you know what, Stace? I said, if my relationship with Coach continues to grow like it is, maybe in 2, 3, 4 years, maybe we'll write a book together. Wouldn't that be great? Fast forward all the way to the next morning. We're driving around town. We're doing a couple live interviews at radio stations who had supported us throughout the year. We had about a 45-minute break in between, so we pull into a McDonald's, grab an Egg McMuffin, and sitting there across the table, Coach Kruger looks at me and says, DJ, is there anything that I can do to help you? And I blurted it out. I want to write a book. And he said, about what? And I explained to him accelerate through impact. And he said, okay. And so we have a book called The X's and O's of Success. It's a brilliant book, if I do say so myself. There are no big words in it. It's because I wrote it. And any parts that you don't like, those are his. Okay? Those are his. Don't tell him I said that. Thank you. But as we were doing that, he had the next idea and said, DJ, what you should do is you should work with coaches throughout the nation and do this. Because what we can learn from sports is amazing, and that's what I get to do now, is I get to spend time with someone like Coach Stewart and dive into the things that he's learned, because they are leaders of building teams. Because life, in fact, is just like sports.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is going to be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Oh, well, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself, and this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only going to end up bad for you, and it's going to end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke, and that I'm going to be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up.
How many people have ever seen that clip? Yeah, not many. That's Rocky Balboa, the final Rocky. The final Rocky. You know, like me, I love Rocky IV. Rocky IV was my favorite, right? Fighting in Russia on Christmas Day, Soviet Union, that's big time. They lost us at Rocky V. Okay, they lost us. That was Rocky Balboa. 10 years after Rocky V that came out, I happened to run across it on a plane. It's the only way I watched it. That scene right there, to set this up a little bit more to explain it, and now it's a little out of context here, is Rocky's wife, I believe her name was Adrian. Was it Adrian? She's passed away. She's passed away. Rocky's thinking about coming out of retirement. And his son is worried and isn't Aren't you worried about what everybody's going to think? Because now this is impacting him. But the line where it says, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. That's life. That is life. You think about that from a cancer patient scenario, but that's just life, period. So what if we embraced what sports teaches us and actually looked at living it every day? Let me ask you just a quick question here. Which one of your favorite teams of all time? Okay, let's talk about that. All right. Security. Okay, okay, give me, now, I want it, how about a year or an era and why you like it? I'm a Dodger fan, so you can feel sorry for me. It's been tough. But 1988 Dodgers, Kirk Gibson, miracle year, an emotional leader. You know, they went up against the Oakland A's, the Bash brothers, who had this mighty offense. The Dodgers were one of the biggest underdogs in World Series history. Kirk Gibson hits the magical home run. Earl Hershiser's on fire. They're World Series champions. You yelled out some names. Someone tell me a team and what you liked about that team. 2011 Cardinals. Let's talk about them real quick. What is it about them?
They were down and out.
Never gave up. Let's say resolve. Okay. Someone said over here.
1999 U.S. Women's World Cup soccer team.
What was it about them?
Without resources, they really inspired the whole generation.
It was bigger than them, right? No reason. They fought against, they embraced being the underdog. Coach, are resources important in sports? It's an arms race.
The city of Boston, 2013, in the aftermath of the marathon bombing.
Boston strong. Again, it was bigger than them. I like to say this. And teams embrace that. Teams embrace when it's bigger than them. I want to talk about a team that's great to talk about right now, the San Antonio Spurs. Talk about the humility on that team. What else? How else would you describe the Spurs? That's tremendous. That's awesome. Seasoned. The old guy said seasoned. I like that. Coach Stewart would like a moment for rebuttal about that old comment. What else about that team? The Spurs. Unselfish. I heard a stat. They passed the ball 415 more times in the last 3 games in the Heat. And we can go on and on. You look at the leadership that's there, and we can do this. Now, question, did I ever ask what was their favorite winning team of all time? No. Automatically, we like winners. That's okay. We want to win. But as we talked about the traits of the greatest teams, and it's fun. People will talk about the Bulls. People will talk about, when I'm doing a lot of Vegas stuff, UNLV, the 1990-91 teams. People will talk about the Miracle on Ice team. They'll talk about all these teams, and we talk about traits. But let's figure something out together. As we talk about the traits, which one of these is an attitude and which one is a skill? Never gave up. All right. This thing is on. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay. Resolve. They inspired a generation. I have something on the, you guys see that on the, there we go. Wow. That's the man behind the curtain did that. That's awesome. Embrace the role of being the underdog. It was bigger than them. Humility. Seasoned. Well, you could say, there's some skill involved with that. Skill to survive. Unselfishness, attitude. But we can keep going on. And the reality is the greatest teams, when you look at their makeup, it's about attitude versus skill. Now, you want to be talented. Don't get me wrong. But as leaders, what we're trying to do is to create an environment. Create an environment. And how do you create an environment? Through attitude. As leaders, your number one responsibility is to control the environment of your team. That's the number one responsibility of a leader, is to control the environment of your team. An environment is created through attitude. So as leaders, our job is to create the attitude that leads to the environment that we want. Now, I need to, and we're going to finish, we're going to go through this fairly quickly here, because again, there's someone coming behind us who I think you want to talk to a little bit. I need right now 13 volunteers. Come on up, 13 volunteers right now. And one who's smarter than the easel. If I can get one who is smarter than the easel. All right. All right, go ahead and stand up against. All right, we're going to have you guys stand right up against the chairs here. All right, oh, here we go. I like it. All right, here's the situation. We got 13. I got to recruit a few more, Coach. I'm not doing good with recruiting. All right, 3 more. All right, here's the situation when it comes. Oh, I like that. Okay, here's where we're at. We're down by 1, 10 seconds left. We're playing basketball, just in case you don't know. Here's what happens when we're coaching. The reality is, especially at Division I level, every single one of our scholarship players, and there are 13 scholarship players, believes that he is going to go to the NBA. In women's, 13 Division I scholarship players, she believes she is going to go to the WNBA. We're down by 1 with 10 seconds left. The first decision a coach is actually making is he or she is telling them, 8 of you aren't even on the court. Sit down. Jennifer, sit down, please. Angelique, go ahead. Step forward. Chris, step forward. Sit down. Kat, sit down. Okay, Patty, see what you got. I'm sorry. Emily, I'm sorry. Sit down, sir. I crack myself up. I don't know if you guys like it, but I'm having fun. Derek, I'm sorry. Sit down. Justin, go ahead, stand up. Oh, go ahead and stand up. Keith, stand up for me. Peggy, I'm sorry. Sit down. Actually, Justin, I need you to sit down. Emily, stand up. Justin, how did that make you feel? You all right? But the reality is he doesn't even know what we're doing. Right? It's kind of this being selected. So me as a leader, as a coach, I have to understand the human nature that's involved with what's going on right now. Because the reality is this. We're the leader of 13 different egos. Envy runs this world. We don't talk about that much. Envy runs this world. And as we have a team and we like to look at this team, I think as sports fans, we like to view the team almost like they're video games. Almost like they don't have feelings. They aren't thinking about, just win. You wear that jersey, you just want to win. It doesn't work that way because they're sitting there going, hey, I can do that. Hey, I can do that. In fact, we're going to talk about what happens after the game, after we win the game. All right? Who's going to run point for me? Okay, you want it? It's Chris, right? Chris? Okay, Chris up top right here. Who's going to hit the shot? Who wants the rock? Oh, Keith, I like it. Okay, Keith, we're going to set you up right here. All right, Emily, I want you to go just right up here. No, you'll be okay. Did you sign the waiver? Okay, then you keep them on. That's fine. Okay, Patty, you're going to be in the corner over here. All right, and Angelique, right over here. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pretend that the basket's right around here. All right? And now we're going to run a play. Now, this is a true story. I did do this down in New Orleans a couple months ago for Buffalo Wild Wings. The guy running point guard apparently thought I could give out scholarships. This is a true story. Was trying to prove something to me, fell down. An hour later at the keynote, he was on crutches. So we're not running, okay? We're not running. Okay, so that's going to be right. This is what's going to happen. Do you know how to set a pick? Do you know what a pick is? A screen? Yeah, you got it. All right. Now, I've been taught too, though, but I have been taught, so you know, in men's basketball, you know, set the pick like this. Women's, we set the pick like this. Okay, so you're going to come up on the defender right here, set the pick. Your job is to get him open, okay? Now, you can't go until she sets it, right? Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to just go a little bit that way. You're going to set, after he sets the pick, okay, after you set the pick, then you're going to fake it in the quarter to Patty, okay? Now, this is going to be Patty's job. Are you a pretty good shooter?
Yeah.
I like that. Good. Okay. I think we have you in the right position then, okay? Because you're our decoy. Okay. Now, you might be the person on the team who's actually leading us in points scored. You might be. But for the reasons right now is we need them thinking the play's going your way. So your job is to come out here. Chris is going to give you that fake pass, okay? And we have to buy that you're wanting the ball. Okay, so, okay, Dominique, back here, wait for a set of screen. When I say go, come set the screen. Oh. Your job to help her to make a play for a teammate. Your job is to wait for her to come to me. Because, Coach, if she's running at me and I run into her, what ends up happening? It's bad because it's a foul on her, but it's his fault. All right. Okay, ready? Dominique, go. Boom, boom. There you go. Okay, there you go. All right, perfect. Oh, you're already rolling. I like it. You know what's going to happen. Perfect. Well, wait. Oh, you want the rock. She's going, I'm shooting. Wow. Okay. So what you're going to do after you there, she's going to roll back. So you're going to roll back where you were. Okay, now as he does the fake pass, Emily, what you're going to do is we're going to pretend that there's a defender right on Keith. Okay? Your job is to get Keith open. That's your job. Okay, in fact, Derek, come on, be the defender for me. So Derek's right here. He's seeing the action. He's thinking the ball might go this way to Patty, so he's watching that way. It reverses. As soon as it reverses, you're going to come down, set a screen on him. Keith, you're going to whip around. Boom. Angelique, am I saying that right? Then you're going to get to Keith over here, and Keith's going to hit the game-winning shot. Okay? All right, so you're playing defense. Let's go through this again. Let's see if we can do this. Think they can do it?
Yeah!
Come on, baby. What's up? What's up, baby? What you got? All right, go. Okay, boom, boom. There it is. Boom. Oh, you got to turn. You got to turn. She's going to throw it to you, and then, Okay, we got to do this again. We're going to do this again one more time. Okay, so now whose fault is that? As a coach, exactly, it's the coach's fault. Because I didn't completely explain. Thank you. As a leader, do we understand this? See, here's what we're going through right now. And what we're going to get through right now is that everybody has a role for the team to win. Does everybody understand their role? So her job is set the pick to get Chris open. Chris, you're going to slide right here. Swing it to Angelique. Angelique, hit it to Keith. What you have to do, your only job, and we lose, that's okay, because I didn't explain it, and that's the coach's role to explain it. Your job is to come up, set the pick on him, so that Keith, and what you do is you're going to stand right around. You can't move, but right there, get in his way, that Keith just gets a split second to get open, get the pass, and hit the shot. Okay, ready? We're going to get it this time. Go. You come. Boom, boom. Okay, now swing out right there. Fake. Boom, boom. Hits the shot. Perfect. Perfect. Go ahead and sit down for a second. Everybody go ahead and sit down for a second. So I want to do this really quickly, go through a couple things. See, everything about this is knowing your role. That's what leadership is about, is does Patty understand that sometimes she's a decoy? Is she going to embrace that? Does Angelique understand my job is to get Chris open? Well, the whole time they be sitting there going, I should be the one shooting the rock. If Emily, it's Emily, right? If Emily does not set that pick, who led the league in picks last year? Why'd you laugh? Nobody cares. Coaches do. Coaches do. But you're right, because we talk about who scored the game-winning shot. Everyone has a role. So my role as a coach is quite a few things. Does everyone buy into what their role is? Does everyone understand? Does Emily, afterwards, is my communication with Emily, am I saying, hey, great job with that. If you don't set that pit, Keith doesn't hit the game-winning shot. Am I doing that as a leader? See, here's the great thing about when you look at it in basketball terms. A lot of us like to play on a team when we get to make the game-winning shot. But I've had to challenge myself. Am I fine when I'm setting picks for people? Are you fine when you're setting picks for people? As a leader, we need to create an environment that basically says, make a play for a teammate. What if everybody in your organization, what if everybody in your family wanted to make a play for someone else? See, this is what coaches have to do is we balance the egos to make a play for a teammate. And as a leader, it's through our attitude that creates this. Because what happens after the game, too, is here's what happens, is we go into the locker room. And if we hit the shot, and we got to know this, too, Keith might miss it. And he's got to be strong enough to be able to take the shot knowing he might miss it. But we're going to go into the locker room. Hey, say a few words. A couple of the players are going to come with me to the media. And as a coach, what I have to do is this. If we win, who gets the credit? The players. If we lose, who takes the blame? Coach. That's what leaders do. Give credit, take blame. Give credit, take blame. Do we do this in life? You know, it's easy to talk about with sports, but here's the next thing, too. If we're creating an environment, the star players who scored the most points, who hit the game-winning shot, come into the media room and do the same thing as the coach. They're already going to get the credit. If you're a leader in your department and you hit goals, you're going to get the credit. Give those who are on your team the credit. You're going to get it. How about in life? I get to come and do this and joke around. My wife's the one at home setting picks right now. That's what she's doing. She's setting picks. And here's another thing that happens, is the other teams, when we go to the media room, what's the first thing these players now are doing when the coach leaves the room? Anybody want to take a guess? A little bit of talk. They grab something. What do they grab? They grab their phones. And on their phones, whether it's social media or text, people are saying, man, you got to get yours. Why aren't you even in the game? Or they're saying, man, you're blowing up. You got to go to the league next year, make your millions. That's why almost 600 kids are transferring every year now in Division I basketball. And if we don't think that's what's happening in our society right now, we're blind. There are people on our teams who they go home and a friend, significant other is saying, wow, she got the promotion. Wow. He got the raise. Wow, why are they taking credit? It's our job as a leader is to create an environment where we want to make a play for each other. So here's what I would challenge us, because we're a team. We're a team right now that's in this fight against cancer. Are we going to accelerate through impact? There's going to be things that are said over the next 2 days that are going to move you. You're going to jot down the ideas. You're going to be inspired at times. And then the conference is going to end. And you're going to check your emails. You can go back to your office. Some of you are going to jump on flights. Are we going to accelerate through impact? Through impact, through the Impact Conference. Amazing things have happened in the last 20 years since Coach Stewart and Coaches vs. Cancer have gotten involved. Amazing things have gotten on for the decades that the American Cancer Society has been together. The century of the American Cancer Society. The numbers are astounding how much better life is today just 25 years ago with cancer. But we can't stop. Can we make a play for a teammate? Can we create an environment that is not about who gets the credit? It's about winning. And when you create an environment like that, that's when special things happen. I think we're a little bit behind. That's a little man. This is what I ask you to take from that. And again, I think there's someone you all want to listen to a little bit more than me coming up. Why don't you guys go ahead and take a seat as we go. Let's give them a hand, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, life is a team sport. And when we're watching on TV and we're watching the things that make winning teams special, I would challenge you, I would challenge us to create an environment that allows others to succeed. The reason why Coach Stewart, the reason why Coach Kruger are so good at what they do, it was always about putting others in a position to succeed. Our number one opponent in life is human nature. We all battle the same opponent every single day. It's significance. But true leaders understand that their significance is making others better. And if we can have an environment like that, and we can live every day making a play for others, and creating an environment where others will make a play for each other, amazing things can happen, and we can win. Think about all the different teams in your life. Work teams, your teams at home. There's a lot of couples who don't make a play for each other. Am I a good enough teammate? Will I set picks for my wife? I'm working on that every single day. So I would just challenge you to make a play for a teammate. Understand that life is a team sport. And understand how what we're going to learn over the next few days can change your world and how you can accelerate through impact. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for your fight against cancer. Coach Stewart, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. God bless. Go ACS, boo cancer.